Hi everybody, Dennis here again. Thanks for tuning in. Today I'm printing up a proofing copy of a typeset I've been working on. More about that in a bit. So it's a good time to say a few words about this printer. I've had it for about 5 months now, and I'm happy to say I've had basically zero problems with it. I've printed thousands of pages, both plain text and full color, and I haven't had any clogged nozzles or even paper jams. So I think it was a good investment. Hopefully I haven't jinxed myself now though. Okay, looks like that's all done, so let's head out to the bindery. The book I'm working on today is Howard Pyle's Merry Adventures of Robin Hood, which he originally wrote and illustrated in 1883. It's a retelling of many of the classic tales of Robin and his band of merry men, and though it's short on historical accuracy, it more than makes up for it in charm. Pyle was writing for younger readers, and so his Robin Hood uses his skill and wit more often than his blade to outfox the greedy and corrupt lords of ye olde England. Add to this Pyle's amazing illustrations, and what you get is one heck of a cozy medieval read, which is why I'm going to the trouble to bind a copy of my own. As this book's a non-copyright work which I sourced from the public domain online, I've had to spend several weeks already in formatting it and getting it ready to print. The final stage of that process, for me at least, is to print up a physical copy which I can then proofread and mark up to do the final corrections. So that's what this is. Being a proofing copy, I'm not going to do anything elaborate with the binding, but at the same time, I couldn't abide just working on a loose stack of paper. What I've got in mind is a sewn binding, of course, but with a lightweight structure that won't take too long to put together. And since I'm speaking to you from the future, I can say that I'm pretty happy with what I came up with. At the end of the video, we'll take a look at how the book held up through the proofreading process, so you can judge for yourself. If you've seen any of my other videos, then you're probably familiar with what I've done so far here. I folded the book up into signatures of 8 sheets each and pressed them flat, and now I'm piercing them in preparation for sewing. I'll do that using a French link stitch, but without any support tapes. As I said, this will be a relatively lightweight binding. In keeping with that, I think I'll keep my commentary to a minimum as well. I'll pop back in a bit when I see something that could use a little more explaining. So, enjoy. Okay, so here I'm adding some mull to the spine with PVA glue. The mull's there to support the spine as well as the hinges. This will be a square-backed book, so no need for rounding or backing. Once that's in place, I'll add some Japanese paper and that'll finish the spine lining. I know I said this would be a basic binding, but come on, I've got to put some marbled paper in here. Do you guys even know me? My concessions to economy, though, will be that I won't burnish the end papers, and I'll just tip them in with a bit of glue. Trimming is an optional step, but since I've got the guillotine, it's basically no trouble at all to tidy up the text block. It makes for a slightly nicer reading experience too, so it's well worth doing. For the cover, I'm using a single piece of cardstock cut to the exact height of the book. For more detailed instructions, I cover that in Bookbinding Basics, Chapter 3. Sorry, couldn't help myself. I'll leave now. Okay, if you've all recuperated from my terrible pun, we can talk about how the cover gets attached to the text block. I haven't actually seen or read about this method before, so I'm considering it to be an experiment until I learn otherwise. My idea was to sandwich the mull between the cover flaps, which is simple in concept, but a bit more fussy in practice. I wound up doing this in stages, using sheets of acetate to keep the mull from sticking to the text block. That way I could get the cover positioned on the text block before gluing down the inner flaps. I did that with a thinner strip of glue, which you'll notice also extends onto the end paper. Doing this incorporates the end paper into the hinge structure without the need of gluing down the entire paste down. With some work I might be able to streamline this part of the assembly, but overall I'm pretty happy with the results. The last thing I'll do is drum on the end papers. The paste down gets attached to the inside of the cover, while the free leaf gets attached to the first fly leaf, which will hide any blemishes on the back of the marbled paper. I've left a little foredge square on the covers, which in use will probably get mashed up, so here I'm creasing those and folding them preemptively. This sort of foredge fold is reminiscent of medieval limp vellum bindings, and this cream-colored cardstock kind of resembles that, so I think it's appropriate. Finally, I want to do some titling for the book. Being in a medieval mood, I thought a little bit of calligraphy would be in order. Nothing fancy, just something on the spine and front cover to help identify the book. This is always a bit of a challenge as a lefty, but I do my best. Not too bad, though I did mismatch the D's of my script. Oh well, what are you gonna do? Before I sit down to start reading this, I'll take a moment to open it up slowly to flex the spine. Sure, it's just a proof copy, but still, gotta do things right. There, all done. In all, this binding only took about an hour and a half, excluding drying time, of course. If you're interested, there's a real-time, dialogue-free version of this video available on my Patreon, if that's your sort of thing. But for now, let's time jump into the future to when I've finished my read-through. Okay, it's a month or so later, and our book's held up pretty well. One thing to notice is that the spine has become a bit concave, which is to be expected with a lightly bound square-back book. The cover is a bit scuffed, but not torn or chipped, even at the head and tail. Being flush with the text block helps with that, I think. Otherwise, it still opens well, which is a benefit of the minimal spine lining. Inside, you can see some of my pencil annotations. I did fix a number of typos, especially with Pyle's use of archaic English, and some formatting problems that I was glad to find. I've since corrected all of those, and then I imposed the document for printing and signatures on both letter size and A4 paper. If you're interested in printing your own copy, then both versions are available to purchase on my Patreon page. And what's more, each download contains the book imposed in signatures of either 6 or 8 sheets, so you can print yours to best suit your materials and binding style. I fully intend to bind my own deluxe version, but that'll be another video series. Until then, thanks for joining me for this little project. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate you spending your time with me, and I'll see you in the next video.